Okay, high five your neighbor and say, you look good for a Friday night. Awesome, you guys. So, and then high five yourself. Awesome for being here. You guys look beautiful. So tonight, Melissa and I are going to talk about where our business comes from. So you want to go ahead and talk about that?
Yeah, you guys, a lot of you guys in this room might look at the leaderboards or look at GroupMe and think, man, Shane and Mel, like, where do they get all this business? Have any of you guys ever seen GroupMe and you're like, man, where does this business come from? Sure. I'll even, like last night, I direct messaged Dana and I'm like, hey, how'd you set that recruit appointment? Because I'm always curious. When people are closing a lot of business, I'm like, hey, where'd that come from? I think I asked Coop this the other day. I'm like, hey, where are you getting all this business? And we want to show you guys exactly where our business has come from. We'll go through a 7-day period from MLK Day and those following 7 days. So we're going to share with you what exactly we had booked, what we ran, and what we closed. Does that sound good? Yeah! All right. Yeah. Very cool. Okay, so this was the week of January 15th. So we had 6 networking events scheduled, and we ended up on 3. The reason we didn't go on the other ones is we were on other appointments, but we had 56 appointments scheduled, and we got on 20. So how many of you guys would look at that like, oh my gosh, they got on less than half of the appointments they scheduled, like almost a third of them, right? That doesn't sound that great, but that's just part of the business, and Shane will talk a little bit more about that. But we closed 7 personal transactions those 7 days, so that's 1 a day. And then in addition to that, we closed 5 for our team recruiting appointments. So Shane will go ahead and share a little bit more.
Yeah, something that's so important is you have to know the numbers and know what you're aiming for, right? So like if we sit there and we have a goal, which you should have a goal every month. What is it that I want to do this month? Is it 5 by 5, 10 by 10? What is your goal? But if you don't know your numbers, you're going out of business. Does that make sense? So for Melissa and I, it's not like this isn't like magic, okay? There is nothing better about Melissa and I than anybody else in this room. The only difference is that we probably got on a few more appointments because we said a few more. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, like, to do the math very simple, if you have a goal, which you should have, take that goal and multiply it by 4, and that should be your standard. In other words, if you want to do 5 by 5, that is 20 by 20 means 40 appointments need to be set. Does that make sense? So if you set 40 appointments, you'll probably get that outcome if you're getting a decent completion ratio and a decent close ratio. Now, you know, Melissa and I, we like to play in traffic. Are you going to be hit by a car on I-75? Right? Okay, that's where you're probably going to get hit. But if you go to some backwoods Clintonville street, dirt road, you're probably going to be sitting there for a minute waiting to get hit by a car. Okay? So the point is you have to play the numbers, and so people are going to cancel. It was so funny the other day because, just real quick, the day blew out for me. I had 5 appointments cancel. I got on 2, I think closed 1, but I was like, sweet, neat. And I'm driving and I'm eating some sort of a pizza thing and I get oil all over my pants and I was pissed. Like, I was like, wow. Like, most people, it would be pretty much the opposite. Like, they'd be so bummed about the appointments canceling, but that's normal, right? So, with that being said, you can go to the next.
Awesome, you guys. I don't know if you can read this, but there are monitors on the side, too, if you can't read it up front. But we want to share with you exactly what we closed that week. So on Monday, we picked up a COD check. So this is when you submit an application without money. You have to wait until it issues. And once it issues, you can go deliver it, and that's when you get paid on it. So that's when you post it out. So we closed a COD check for $400. That was on Monday. On Tuesday, our schedule, likely everything rescheduled. We didn't get anything. Whatever we got on, we didn't close. Wednesday, we closed for $400 from an appointment that was set via social media. So on the next page, we'll show you what we say on social media that we set a lot of appointments and closed a lot of business from. And then Shane closed with David Fernandez for $3,000, which is pretty awesome. And then on Thursday, we recruited a direct. That was a client who came from Facebook who's interested in the business. The next one, we picked up a COD check from a training appointment with Chris Ahern. So you can see and then the next one it was a training appointment with Lauren. So some of our business is from training appointments, but then you can also see 2 of them were from appointments that we set from social media or from networking. So this is the message that we'll send on Facebook that we set quite a few appointments from.
So you guys, one of the things, again, this is a plane and traffic business, right? So one of the things that we do is we're always looking at, what can we get on as quick as possible? So if you looked at that previous slide, I don't know if you can go back at all, but if you looked at the previous slide, you guys, there's a couple of things here where, Tuesday, okay, we had quite a few changes, but here's the thing is that sometimes you might see people that are popping across on GroupMe all the time thinking there's some sort of a unicorn. They slid off a rainbow and into a pot of gold and somehow they got lucky. No, they just did the work. Right? And you guys, we're all capable of doing the same thing. It just depends on what we want to do and how we want to do it and how big we want to do it. We're all capable of the same thing, right? So we're all capable of setting an appointment. We're all capable of running that appointment provided we get on it, right? So a couple of things, you guys, is skills pay the bills. Work on having as many oars in the water as possible. Right, so you're going to be able to get through quick if you have as many oars in the water as possible. Right, so for us, we look at business owners. We meet with a lot of business owners. We do KTs, we do training. But one thing I want to share real quick too is that always having a sense of urgency should be key. How often do you maybe get a reschedule or something comes up and you set it for the next couple of days? What about doing it today? Right? What if your schedule blows out and so you make a phone call and say, hey, I got some free time, let's get together in the next hour. Last time I did that, you guys, I left an appointment, okay? I closed that appointment. My 3 other appointments blew out. And on my way home, okay, somebody texts me and says, hey, I know this guy who might be a good fit. I call the guy who might be a good fit, and he's a life licensed agent, and he lives 5 minutes from where I'm at. Literally, while I'm driving. He's 5 minutes from where I'm at. I'm like, dude, hey, I'm right here. Why don't you just come meet me now? Met him, recruited him, moved forward. Okay, but you got to have this sense of urgency. You can go to the next slide. You got to have this sense of urgency to get the job done. Does that make sense?
Awesome, you guys. And something I've been thinking about so much in the last week and a half is something that Ian says all the time. And it's that you guys are born for greatness, but somewhere along the path that you've had in life, you've settled for mediocrity. And man, I just hope that you guys believe and you were born for greatness, and maybe circumstances in life aren't what you want them to be today. But you truly, you have the opportunity within this business to make your life whatever you want it to be. So do those things, and we will see you guys at the top.